A Land Rover Defender recovers a Toyota Prado. A Mitsubishi Triton pops a tire. And I eat a big breakfast. That's all in this episode of the Bridgestone 4x4 Club Challenge. This is it. This is the first elimination round of the 2017 Bridgestone 4x4 Club Challenge. Based inside the Dinokeng Game Reserve north of Pretoria, this round would not only see the obstacle get bigger and tougher than before, but the competition route was also based in Big 5 territory. The weekend-long event started on the Friday evening with registration and a bride. And organizers talking about bigger is better obstacles and the possibility of being eaten by a lion. But it was a relatively early night and it was a big day that lay ahead. Luckily, Anthony and I only had to report to the officials at around 8:30 a.m, so there was plenty of time to work in a proper breakfast. We even had some spare time to take in the sights and sounds of Dinokeng Game Reserve. So, while we wait, let me quickly tell you more about the latest upgrade we had made to the Suzuki Jimny. Just before this event, I stopped over at opposite Lock East Rand for some specialist advice. There I met up with owner Reke Ackerman to talk about suspension, and I specifically inquired about the issue of clearance.
I battled a bit with the Bridgestone.
Yes.
You know, between 7 and 8, the obstacles. I need a bit of ground clearance. And to be honest, I think I want to win.
You want to win, eh?
Yes.
You're serious? You want to win?
I want to.
Okay, great.
What suspension can you advise me to have on the Jimny?
Okay, so I think the Jimny, awesome off-road vehicle.
I agree.
And but you found a little bit of scraping and some areas where you would need a little bit more articulation would have been better. Correct.
Yeah.
I think Tough Dog is an awesome match for you, and we can kit you out with a nice Tough Dog suspension, give you some raise, the 40mm lift, the Tough Dog shock absorbers that will help you with some of that clearance issues and give you that suspension travel you need and keep the vehicle stable throughout that, so that you got an awesome chance of winning. The driver's side I can't help you with.
Yeah, that seems to be a problem. But anyway, but now why Tough Dog as opposed to what makes it stand out? I mean, there's so many products out there. Why Tough Dog?
I mean, I can't comment on all the other suspensions. If I look at Tough Dog, it's a quality suspension, properly designed for the vehicle, so it's made to work within the parameters, making your drive safe. If I look at a suspension, first thing for me always is safety. I mean, you want to use that vehicle and make sure, and I always say you travel there safely, you have a suspension that will meet your requirements, and give you an awesome off-road drive, and you travel back safely, so on road. So you're matching all that and giving you that type of performance, and I think Tough Dog is the perfect match for you there.
So, into the workshop, the Jimny went. There, the upgraded Tough Dog suspension was installed quickly and efficiently. But the work on the Suzuki wasn't done yet. The opposite lock guys also installed an intervolt electronic battery management system, a humongous light force LED light bar that can probably blind the man on the moon, as well as a Tough Dog steering damper. A set of Caracal canvas and leather seat covers was added to protect the interior in the bush. And finally, the Jimny was all done, ready for some serious 4x4 action, like in the real serious stuff.
Ja, but that's nou die lewe, né?
Ja, swaar. Ons mis nou net die biertjie hierso.
Ietsie koud.
Ietsie koud, ja. Dis al wat ons nou mis.
While Anthony and I were lounging around waiting for our start time, the first competitors, Anna-Marie Engelbrecht and Volley Volmarans, were getting their jeeps scrutineered in preparation for the 7 a.m. start time.
You're gonna come and it's gonna be maybe 9.
Go!
Oh dear, Anna-Marie, that's not a good start. Let's hope that's not how their day is going to unfold. We'll catch up with the Wrangler a bit later. This is obstacle 5. While we were going through the scrutineering process before starting, some of the other teams were already having plenty of fun on the track. This is Karishma and Kiruben ready, and they drive a long Jeep Wrangler Unlimited Rubicon. At first glance, obstacle 5 doesn't seem so tough at all, but that sharp crest is a tough one. If you don't get your momentum right, you are going to spend some quality time stuck on that crest. In the car, Karishma's 2 daughters were also riding along. And away they go, slowly, steadily.
Swing up, swing up. Keep coming, keep coming, keep coming, swing, swing. Swing, give it on.
And there we have it. The Jeep didn't have the momentum we were talking about.
We got stuck.
After a few more futile attempts to extract the Rubicon from its predicament, a winch from a beautiful old Land Cruiser is attached to the Jeep, and in a jiffy it was out. But unfortunately, that meant 0 points for the Jeep. Johan Forslow and Skalk Kruger are next to tackle this obstacle, and they're in a Toyota Prado V6, which also happened to be quite long, by the way. Johan heads up the first climb. And that's just the right amount of momentum. The Toyota clips a pole at the next gate, so that's 25 points lost.
Wat ek like van hierdie roete. Weet jy wat dit is? You get the balance down. There's a little bit of a drift.
He navigates the sharp turn almost to perfection, but gives our camera a little nudge. At the next gate, no, that's another pole done for. And the last gate, oh dear, that pole is killed very dead. So even though they did a grand job on the tricky crest, the Prado team still scores 0 points. Time for a quick break. On the other side, the action gets really serious at obstacle 5, with more vehicles getting stuck. We are back and still at obstacle 5 with Yakonel and Arno Roux. They are in an Isuzu KB. The obstacle doesn't start very well, and the Isuzu has to stop and take a rollback to properly align for that tricky climb.
Jakob, wil jy rollback vat? Ek dink dit is beter as jy rollback vat. Draai lock jou stuurwiel so. Draai kom terug. Rollback. Nog. Reguit. Ander kant toe wiele. Cool. Kom 'n bietjie hierdie kant en dan so.
Here goes attempt number 2. And it taps off just a moment too soon, and the long KB bitches itself on the crest.
Jakob, ek het daar first. Okay, go. Nee, it's impossible. Okay, Dad. That's niks.
After some faffing about, trying to devise a plan, a winch cable is hooked to the Isuzu, and in a jiffy, it's free. But that's another 0-pointer. This is former Bridgestone champion Johan Marx, partnered by Johan Bischoff. Johan drives a short-wheelbase Mercedes Geländewagen, which should fare better on that sharp crest. And off goes the Benz. That problematic crest is dispatched with nary a worry. The same goes for the next gate. This is shaping up to be a great exhibition of 4x4 driving. And up goes the Benz and through.
Rechts! Ja, strijk! Strijk! Oh! Nee!
Despite the great start, the former champ also scores 0 points. Scoring any points on this obstacle is apparently an achievement. Here's reigning long wheelbase champion Johan Reichel in his Toyota Fortuner. Let's see if he manages to bank any points. He storms at first crest and he's over. He gets through the next gate without hitting anything too. And the next one.
Go! Hardloop!
He even just manages to miss our camera. But Johan doesn't manage to miss the next pole. That's one down. He takes out both poles at the last gate, but amazingly, that's 25 points on the score sheet, which is a lot more than most other teams could say.
Die keer het ek nie gevloek nie. Ek doen daai een.
Okay, so it pretty much looks like a half decent score on this obstacle is nigh on impossible. Or is it? This is Johan Vos in a Suzuki Jimny. His co-driver, Johan Theron, is out on the track giving directions. Let's see how he goes about this challenge. The first climb is easily dispatched. Ditto with the second gate. The third gate. And the fourth gate. So that's 100 points. The Jimny turned out to be one of 5 Suzukis that managed 100 points here on this day. And talking about Jimnys.
No, you can come up. Where's your...
No, I'm saying we come up here.
Yeah, but watch it.
I obviously also had to complete this obstacle. And well, it didn't go exactly to plan. In fact, besides several stops, then hitting a pole or two, there were also moments where I couldn't see Anthony and introduced the Jimny's bumper to a rather large boulder. See if you can spot that moment. Yeah, that was it. So after that calamity, we only earned 40 points here. At least it went a bit better elsewhere, mostly. Meanwhile, in between the obstacles, we had another challenge. Bridgestone called them virtual marshals. These are essentially boards hidden in the bush close to or near the tracks we were driving on. We had to spot them and add our unique sticker to the board. The more virtual marshals we spotted, the more points we could earn. So we kept an eagle eye out for them boards. After all, we were here to win. While we were hunting virtual marshals, the fun and games continued elsewhere on the track. Like at Obstacle 8, where Johan Vos was in a pickle. His Jimny was utterly embedded on a rock. Now what now, Johan?
No, the rock was a bit high for the Jimny. So it's bellied now. It's totally... They'll have to pull it out. The flock might have helped, but not at this stage.
Thankfully, there's help at hand in the form of Johan Max in the Mercedes Golonderwagen. The Merc dragged the little Jimny clear, one time. Just about 3 minutes later, the Benz was stuck on the very same rock. So, one of the marshals, Nissan Navara, was recruited to do the honors. Another 5 minutes later, Johan Voslo in the Toyota Prado also became better acquainted with the same rock. This time, a Land Rover Defender dragged the Prado off the rock. Well, not quite. After a quick rethink and some rock packing to lift the nose of the Prado, the Defender dragged the Toyota out. So, it's been a pretty tough day for all the teams. After the break, we return to Dino King for some more "Oh my greatest" moments. This is Obstacle 1, a bit of a roller coaster ride through some sandy bits. But before we get to the obstacles, a bit of National Geographic. And this is Therese Smith, and she is a game ranger at Leopard Song Game Lodge.
Okay, so I'm actually protecting these people, making sure that they're fine and that they know one of the big five comes close to the area. If they were to come one of the big five, then I would have to chase them away and make sure. So I'm basically just here as their bodyguard. I'm making sure that they're fine. First of all these guys are going to stand still in their positions and they line behind me. And then when a lion were to charge, you just shout at them and make as much noise as possible. And then we'll see, take it from there. If it makes a full charge, well, then that's a problem. But if it goes off, then that's fine. But usually 96% of the time, lions tend to stop, even if it's 5 meters in front of you, and then they'll run off. But I think there's too much noise here in the area, so they won't come.
A brave girl is our Therese. Luckily, I know I can run faster than Anthony, so I should be okay. Back to the business of 4x4 competition and Obstacle 1. This lady driver, Anna-Marie Engelbrecht, with partner Volleyball Marans, out on the track giving directions. With Therese, the lion whisperer, looking on, Anna-Marie heads into the obstacle, getting through the first gate. Okay. But then, oh dear, that's 2 poles in one fell swoop. At the last gate, she takes out another one. In the end, the Jeep team scored just 20 points here. Looks like they jinxed the day at the starting line earlier. Hey, at least they were not eaten by a lion. Oh, this is former champion Danny Daniels and Rob Wallace. Danny's Jeep Grand Cherokee is a big 4x4, so let's see how he manages these narrow gates. He takes a slow and steady approach and then stops and reverses to get a better angle on the next gate. But oh dear, the Grand Cherokee is not moving. So Rob gets in on the action. Using his Wallace strength, he pushes the Jeep back. Looks like the drivers have it in for our cameras today. And off goes the Jeep again. Or not. So, Super Rob jumps on the rear bumper, adding some traction. And that trick worked out beautifully, and the Jeep is on its way again. With only one pole taken out, Danny and the Jeep make it through the obstacle with a handy 60 points, thanks to the Super Navy Rob. The previous evening, some of the marshals whispered in hushed voices about Obstacle 3. Essentially, a drive through a wet and muddy drift and up a very narrow and steep incline, in between some trees.
Okay.
This is George Rettemeyer, and he drives a Mitsubishi Triton. Now, if there's one thing George is famous for, it is his love for momentum. If other competitors tackle an obstacle at 5 kilometers per hour, George will say, "Bah, that's for grannies," and then he will tackle it at 10 kilometers per hour. So this could get interesting. He starts slowly enough, heading down the hill, and goes through the drift at quite a speed, but then he runs out of steam on the climb and the Triton slides back into the drift. Of course, this is now where the 10 kilometers per hour theory comes into play, and George nails the accelerator. Up he goes and up he goes. And pop goes that right rear tire as it collided with a tree stump. At least that's 35 points in the bank. This is Gerard Sketter, and he is in a Nissan hardbody. His co-driver, Tennis Lindek, must have drawn the short straw as he's out on the track. And off he goes. Gerard is applying the 5 km per hour theory here. Tinus is doing a great job directing the Nissan down the watery ditch. The turning circle of the hardbody isn't going to crack this nut, so Gerard has to make a stop and reverse to make a better angle to clear the tree. And slow and steady is obviously the way to go here. Gerard pilots the Nissan out of the ditch, but no, he clips that last pole on the exit gate, but the team still bag a respectable 40 points. As Gerard heads off to the next obstacle, he passes George and Robert doing some roadside repairs to the rear tire, and the tortoise wins again. Gerard and Anneke van der Merwe are next to tackle obstacle 3 in their little chimney. Wait, you know what? There's so much action to show you, we don't have any time left. So let's call it quits right here and take it further next week for the second installment of all the action from Dinokeng Game Reserve. Oh, there's also still the question of whether Anthony and I managed to win the event overall as per our cunning plan. Tune in next week to find out how it all panned out.